Omer, thanks for sitting down with me today. Great to see you.
Great to see you. Thank you.
Thanks. Omer, can you tell me a little bit about who is Be Hero?
So BeeHero's is a company that we founded more than 6 years ago to focus on pollination optimization and dealing with the bee problem that we are facing. And it's been quite a ride since then.
So you talk about bee problem. Can you be? I mean, I know anyone in the business knows that we have a bee problem. Tell me your take on it. What's your take on the bee problem?
Yes, I think most of the people are familiar with colony collapse disorder and the fact that more than 40% of bee colonies collapse every year. Most of us are not familiar with the fact that these bees are needed in order to pollinate those crops out there. So like 70-75% of the crops depends on those bees. And if we cannot create an environment or an ecosystem where bees can thrive, it means it's going to affect pollination efficiency, and that's going to affect the outputs. So, in our efforts to try and become more efficient in food production, we need to ensure that we can gain precision pollination, and we can manage bees in a professional and precise way to support the ongoing population.
And if I understand correctly, Be Hero just introduced a new product specifically aimed at helping seed growers improve their pollination outcomes. Can you tell us a little bit about how that works?
Sure, yeah. So, our initial focus was to see how we can ensure that bees that being introduced to the fields and physically, moved on trucks and deployed in the field during the bloom time are strong, healthy, and efficient. So they can cover, tens of millions of flowers a day. And in 4 years, we became the largest pollination provider, focusing on, introducing strong and healthy hives to the fields. Some of the things that we learned, especially with, vegetable seed producers and some other high value crops, is that there's some additional efforts outside the scope of introducing strong and healthy hives to the field that can be adjusted. So we started to work with some of the largest seed producers, and we implemented in-field sensors. So unlike the in-hive sensor that we used in the core business model, we started to track and monitor data from the field itself, and we identified some interesting behaviors that help seed producers to gain better pollination and ideally better outputs.
And so if they're very concerned about this, right? I know I have regular conversations about this specific piece. What do seed growers? What would their benefits be specifically be if they adopt this precision in pollination approach?
So I must say that I was quite surprised. You talk to some of the largest companies in the world dealing with, seed production, some of the most sophisticated companies, they invest around 10% of their revenue stream into R&D. And when it comes to bees, there's a lot of guesswork, which is quite surprising. So our initial effort was to make sure that you get good coverage of bees. We identified situation of which bees were deployed too early. The problem when you deploy bees, and you can deploy the best bees out there, but if you deploy them too early, the bees will find an alternative foraging area, and they will focus on this area until they finish. So you might be paying for bees for pollination, introducing getting strong hives, but the bees are not going where you want them to go. So this is one thing that can be identified in real time, and then you can replace those beehives and ensure that you get good coverage. We identified situations of nipping, of which males and females do not bloom at the same time. So you get good coverage of bees in certain areas of the field, but you don't get overlap between males and females. So the pollination process means basically nothing, which again could be adjusted using smart irrigation and some other techniques, and so on and so on.
So what would you tell people that say, Omer, you can't control this. This is out of our control. This is nature being nature. What would you tell them?
I think if we go historically, there's so many things that we do now that we never believed we can do, right? I mean, we used to wait for rain to irrigate our crops, and now we use smart systems that can monitor the exact amount of water that we provide every single plant in the field. We can control the nutrients level that we provide, and so on. So I don't claim to have all the answers on how we can fully control it. I think the first stage is to collect the data and to get a better understanding on the challenges that we need to deal with. And I think that the important part of BeeHero expanding into this new territory is the fact that we get to work with those sophisticated companies and design together how technology can support their efforts. Because otherwise, you might be putting a lot of resources into other things and get no pollination and get no output. So I think that's part of the design partnership and our work with some of the seed producers and now expanding our activity to try and nail down the different challenges that they are dealing with. And with this new layer of data that didn't exist before, identify what areas can be controlled and should be controlled and what, we still leave to nature to handle.
If people are interested by this, Omer, if you and I have triggered some questions for them, how do they reach out to you? How can our audience connect with you?
So probably the best way is to reach out to our website, which is www.beehero.io. We added another page for the Pollination Insights Platform, so backslash PIP, PIP, and that's where you can get some more information. And one of our team members will get in touch. We'll learn a little bit more about your specific activity and see how we can best support your efforts. It's a fascinating world, and I enjoy learning more about bees and pollination every day, and I'm sure that those scientists working with us will benefit too.
Awesome. And just to be clear, beehero.io/PIP. Omer, thanks very much. I appreciate this.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a good day.